When you take the time to let the whole rest of the world go away and focus on that person, and that means listening too, it becomes a personal connection and it's very meaningful. How important it is to every single person you meet that you just stop everything else and just give them a moment. They don't expect more than that.
Hi, I'm John Patterson, and welcome to the Driven Leaders Podcast, where we get a chance to talk to driven leaders. And our leaders are internal teammates that we work with, external people from the community, politicians, nonprofits, and our customers. And we're lucky today to have a driven leader customer with us, Richard Clayman. Welcome to the Driven Leader Podcast.
Thank you, John.
We've been so blessed to earn your business about 4 or 5 times over the years, and we are so fortunate. But before we talk about business and cars and the like, I'd like for you to share with our team a little bit about yourself and what you do, your family, your passions. Please share.
Well, my number one passion is my family and my kids, and now my grandkids.
Sure.
I have 4 kids and then also a stepson. So 3 older and 2 younger, 2 separate marriages.
Yeah.
And now 4 grandchildren with them as well. So they go from 38 down to 18.
Love it.
Right, yeah.
20-year span.
20
Keeps you
years.
young.
Yeah. It does. It really does. I mean, to be doing what I'm doing with my 18-year-old, it's really like, it was like splitting a generation. So as soon as they started to grow up, here came the new ones, right? So that was, really the center of my life is them. Business-wise, I was in Hollywood for a long time, above the line. So writer, producer, director, actor, production executive for most studios and networks. And about 20 years ago, saw videos coming up pretty easily on the internet. Thought that's the future. Nobody who remotely knows what I know, because I made huge network shows and things,
Yeah.
is going to do this. Because in Hollywood, the minute you start to do something which is sort of termed an industrial,
Right.
at least in the old days, that's what it was called. You're as soon as people find out, you're out of Hollywood.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So, but I wanted to be out of Hollywood, so it was perfect for me.
Win-win, right?
Yes. So, for my company, been doing it for 20 years and do films for websites and all, fun, nonprofit fundraising films, animated films and events, sizzle reels, tribute videos for honorees, things like that. A lot of stuff in the medical space and product, a ton of stuff.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you've done some lecturing at different colleges too, from what I understand. West Coast, East Coast, you've talked about, I assume when you lecture, you're talking about the biz or a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I mean, I've taught at film school,
Okay.
Columbia College Hollywood, and then almost a decade at the USC School of Cinematic Arts. I taught directing, I've taught acting, and I taught producing.
Okay.
At film school. And I know an awful lot about writing as well, but I haven't actually taught that at film school.
Okay, that's got to be fun, rewarding, maybe a little bit of giving back, but also staying in that space, right?
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I remember when I was first asked to come in to teach for the first time, and it was a 4-hour class, and I thought,
It's a lot of content.
what am I going to say for 4 hours? Well, at the end of 4 hours, I thought, oh, gee, I've just started, right? So I realized that was not going to be a problem. There's just so many things to impart, especially when you cross disciplines like I do.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, there's so many different nuances. And to a layman like myself, I can't even fathom that, right? Putting together a video, a script, a writing, an acting, I mean, it's just so far out of my comfort zone that I'm always enamored by people like you and people that have that space. And before we get into you as a guest, I do want to share with our teammates. So you're tall, but you've got really tall kids that are basketball players and basketball coaches too, right?
Yeah.
Share with our teammates a little bit about your family.
Yeah, all my boys, well, the 3 older ones, including my stepson, all went to college and played basketball, and one played professionally.
Wow.
And the one who played professionally has just been named the head coach at High Point University. And
So good.
good. If you haven't seen the school, it's the most amazing place you've ever seen.
And it's in the Carolinas, right?
Yeah, it's about an hour north. It's in High Point.
Yep.
It's about an hour north of, which is actually the furniture capital of.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So they have that the International Furniture Convention there every
Yeah.
year, and it is about an hour north of Charlotte. But Nito Cubain, who is the president of the school, who ran Lazy Boy and a bunch of other companies, and has done very well in his life, he went to High Point, and he had no money. And he was Lebanese American, and the town supported him. The school supported him. He did extraordinarily well in his life, and now he's made it into truly the five-star hotel of colleges. It's insane.
Wow.
So for my son to get that job is quite a thing at 36. It's really, it's good for him. And so that's exciting.
I sense some frequent flyer miles going from here to Charlotte for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm trying to figure out whether I should get the upgraded credit card or not, because I all those miles. I mean, it's well worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's East Coast, West Coast, because he was coaching in Utah before he became the head time full coach at High Point, right?
Yeah, after playing pro overseas, he decided he had the opportunity to coach in Australia.
Mm.
And so he retired as a player at 27 and went and play and coached in Australia for a year and a half, really build up that program.
Mhm.
Then was hired as the grad assistant at Southern Utah.
Mhm.
And in 4 years later, he was the associate head coach.
Wow.
Yeah, his name is Flynn Clayman, and he's really, he's the hardest worker I've ever known.
Well, to our teammates listening to this, Flint Clayman, keep your eyes peeled on that, and keep your eyes peeled at High Point because they're gonna have a great season this year.
Yeah, I mean, they won 29 games last year, and they played Purdue in March Madness, so they're for real.
I love it. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun for you and your family to watch him and be part of that entire experience. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
So let's pivot a little bit. So we've been so fortunate to get to know each other over the last 10 plus years. And, we have a mutual friend in Sam Cohen. For so many of our teammates, they know Sam is a retired car dealer, and he's super influential in a leadership group here in Southern California. And so he's made a connection with a bunch of leaders like yourself, and he makes this his habit to introduce his friends to different car dealers that he enjoys. And we were so fortunate to make that connection with you. And it started with one car, which turned into another and another. And let's put things into perspective. So we're here in Orange County. Where do you live, Richard?
I live on the west side of LA in an area called Mar Vista, just above Venice. So it's a little bit of a drive out here, but it's been well worth it. I mean, I've been to a lot of car dealers in my life, and this is a very different kind of place. And yeah, Sam, it was very fortunate through our networking group Provisors, which has hundreds of groups here in Southern California and now has gone nationwide. It's over 10,000 members. It is a group that, because they have a pretty strict non-solicitation policy, meaning we can't sell to each other,
Right.
but we can buy from each other. So I could say to another member, to Sam, well, you really could use the videos that I make,
Mhm.
right, on your site. And as a friend, true, but I would never say that. But he can say to me, we should talk about videos. And then it happens. So you have to have dignity and patience. It's sort of an unusual thing in Southern
Mhm.
California,
Oh, yeah,
right? And especially having come from Hollywood, where
for sure.
Sam alone has more dignity and patience than probably 25 years of Hollywood for
Mhm.
me. And so I think it was, so that's attractive to those of us who make a lot out of that organization. And it is, and we help each other out. Like Sam offers to help people. He'll sit here, all morning,
Oh, yeah.
going through the whole deal.
Between, our stores, it's not unusual to see Sam, once a weekend, once every other weekend, oftentimes with one or two friends of his.
Yes.
And so, I mean, we are forever in debt to Sam, but he's also introduced us to teammates like you that have allowed us to earn your business multiple times. And making that drive from Mar Vista to Orange County, you not only pass by, you know, 5, 6, 7 Mazda dealers, you pass by 100 new and used car dealers along the way. So you got plenty of choices, and we are so blessed to have you come here.
I've got a Mazda dealer probably 5 minutes from my home, right? And they're fine.
Yeah.
But the dignity and patience idea, and it being that important to the people improvisers, it makes perfect sense to the way you run your business. This dignity and patience, just like Hollywood, are not typically characteristics of car dealers.
For sure.
And I get it,
Mhm.
right? But there's an element of desperation. Anytime you drive in, for example, driving today and parking, had I gone to probably any other car dealership I've ever known, salesman would have been standing outside and swooped upon me the moment I drove in. One of the things I notice here is that doesn't happen, right? In fact, your staff is busy putting together stuff for charity, which is a remarkable thing. So those traits for anybody who values that, right, and would love to have that sort of experience with a car dealer, this is where you got to come. Even if so, you got to drive an extra hour. Who cares? I mean, really.
Well, we are, one, we feel the same way. And two, we are just grateful that you see it and so many of the provisors, guests see the same thing because we are very fortunate in the connections that Sam has made for us to a number of professionals like yourself that have driven, 10, 20, 30, 50 miles to come visit with us. And we owe it to you to provide an experience that is, worthy of you wanting to come back.
Yeah, well, it is, and listen, it's just the way you do business. I don't think it's a matter of owing it to me, but it is, it's well worth it to me because I lease, so it's well worth it to me to come out here every 3 years and upgrade, right?
And
It's
we're grateful for those upgrades.
yeah, so I think I'm on my 4th here.
I think you are.
My mom did 3, the 3rd she actually purchased one. So, we, and now my 18-year-old's driving that car.
Yeah.
So, and he loves it. The Mazda's a great product. And I really, honestly, I'd never thought about it until Sam said, no, really, I'm going to tell you what you should get is a Mazda. That's going to be your best choice. And he was right.
Well, and that's what we hope to do is create that generational experience as well. Whether it's your mom, you, your wife, your son, we want to be your dealership for life. We want to make you a customer for life. And so far, it feels like that's exactly what is going on. And again, I know you say it's not necessary, but the gratitude that we have for guests like yourself is so invaluable because we understand that to earn somebody's business once is a victory. To earn someone's business multiple times is, icing on the cake. So thank you so much for that. Let's walk through the guest experience piece because, you're driving that, 1 hour to get here from Mar Vista. Walk me through a few unique guest experiences that you've had in our organization that makes it worth your while to make that drive.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it right when I first came the first time. It was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I came here and met Sam here on a Saturday.
Yep.
And one of your guys was outside with a grill cooking cheeseburgers and hot dogs for the people who came in.
Mhm.
Not for the people who then signed and got to have their hot dog, right? It's just
Where's your paperwork? Let me hear
that's right.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, that's worth one hot dog and one hamburger. So it was, and then subsequently I've seen you making breakfast. Just now, here's listen for all of you, the owner of the dealership, who you could see what an engaging guy he is, what a truly nice guy he is. And he comes up every time I'm here. I don't know how you're here all the time, but he comes up and remembers everything about me from 3 years before. He's met me a couple of times. And it's immediately starts talking about my kids and about basketball and about this and that. And it just says so much about you. And then Kevin, who generally has been helping me out now for the last couple of cars.
Yeah.
Always makes it easy and friendly. He's such a nice guy.
Yep.
And yet not pushy. And along with Sam, they're certain to say, you could do this, but you don't really need that.
Right.
This one you could do, but and you should, right? And I trust them,
Yep.
right? Because I've seen it happen. There are different little things, obviously in bells and whistles and things you can do. That overall experience, or for example, I've tried to tie, because it's a drive, when I've come out for service,
Sure.
I've tried to tie it into a morning meeting with provisors out
Yep.
here in Orange County, because
Yep.
there are maybe 40, 50 groups in Orange County. And so I'll come out and guest at one of those groups. It starts, try to get there a little before 7. So I come in before you open up at
Gotcha.
the dealerships. And it's been here even more often in Huntington Beach, because
Yeah.
that's closer to some of the meetings, right? First of all, scheduling it is the easiest thing in the world. Secondly, I pull in, and I remember the first time I wasn't quite sure what to do with my keys because it wasn't open. So you leave it in an
Yeah.
envelope in a box, and then they take care of it. And there was a guy there working there, and immediately he didn't need to come out and help me. And immediately out helping me, showing me where to put it, and just as helpful as could be. And then off to my meeting, and then I call you guys, and you send a lift, and I come back, and it's almost always, if I tell them, okay, this is how long my meeting is going to be, this is where it's going to be. They're not saying, like so many dealers will say, oh, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, right? And then you get back and it's never ready. I come back and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's ready. Here you go. Bang, done, out. So it makes it, and there's probably other things too, but it makes it a really great experience coming here.
We just had our all associate meeting earlier this week, and what we focused on a couple of key items. The Japanese have a phrase called Omotenashi, which means one of one. Your guest is one of one. How can you be hospitable to that guest? And what I'm hearing from you is a unique experience. You are not a number here in our dealership. We want to remember you and your family and show it appreciation and make it a personal experience. And when you are here, it's going above and beyond so that we are helping you out and making your life easy and the process seamless. Because the last thing we want to do, especially for somebody that's, driving, 40 miles an hour away, is make anything other than seamless. And it feels like, I'm not trying to inflate our tires. It feels like we're able to do that. for
Inflate our
you.
tires. It's so fun. Have you got to be a car dealer?
Let's go.
Use similes like that. I'm not trying to inflate our tires. That's funny. I'd never heard that one before. So, and there's something else about it too. And I think it goes to all of those things is that, when I was in Hollywood, and I think anywhere, most companies, people are working there. They're not really that thrilled to be working there. I mean, they may like what some of the things they do and so on, but that culture of the company is more about their product. It's
Yep.
more about making sales and making profits, right? And I get that. I get that. There was one company in Hollywood where everybody loved working there, and it came across to anybody who would walk in the door, and that was Panavision. And they were always like that. And I think it was their culture from the first day. It had to have been. I don't know if they're still like that. I haven't
Right.
been around there for a long time, but that's the feeling I get here. It's like all the other dealers that I've been to who are okay. Well, all the other dealers that I've been to are in that other category. And it really feels like yours, and not just this one, but Huntington Beach.
Mhm.
And when I went over with my son over to I think we went to the
The Honey
Honda.
Square? Mhm.
Yeah. And it was, you get the feeling that everybody here is sort of happy to be here. Right. And I mean, that's got to emanate from you, right?
Well,
I don't want to inflate your.
yeah, thanks for inflating my tires. Uh, you know, our message to every one of our teammates is, we have 4 core values. Number 1 is engaged employees. Number 2 is loyal customers. Number 3 is community servants. And number 4 is long-term decisions daily. But number 1, we lead with engaged employees. And what I try and share with each of our guests, brand new employee teammates and people who have been with us for 20 years is I don't expect somebody to wake up in the morning and put on their pants one leg at a time and go, "Sweet, I get to work for John Patterson." What I hope they are doing is saying, "Hey, I've got to keep the lights on in the house, groceries in the fridge, gas in the car, and in doing that, I work for an organization with an organization that values me,
Right.
that appreciates me, that appreciates the community, that values our customers. And we don't look at our customers as a number, and we certainly don't look at our teammates as a customer. And by having core value number 1, engaged employees, I like having that high-fiving, chest bumping game day environment where our teammates feel like they're part of something much bigger.
Right.
And to your point, we've got the charitable thing going on for the Orange County Rescue Mission right now. And when you can see the cause and effect, yesterday we had the president of the Orange County Rescue Mission talk to each of our teammates and kind of share how these gifts, how these supplies are going to change the lives of so many different people. When our team can see that cause and effect relationship, I think it makes them more proud and have a higher buy-in to what we're doing. Because we are, yes, do we sell cars? Do we service cars? Do we sell cars in the parts in the parts department? We do, but that's just part of it.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, we
I mean, I walk in and I mean, there's boxes of stuff everywhere, right? Food and diapers and this and that. And when I talk to you about that, what was interesting to me is that you're raising all of this stuff because it is the slowest time for the Orange County Rescue Mission. In other words, you're filling that gap for them, which is very intentional. Right? I mean, but who would think beyond that? Typically, holiday time, Christmas time, I mean, people give, right? But to say, you had to have said to them, "What's your slowest time? Where can we best serve you?" And I see your staff they're not out there selling cars. I mean, they'll sell if somebody wants to buy one, but they're not out there selling cars. They're out there getting boxes ready and getting things ready for this. And it's a beautiful showroom, and yet it's all full of stuff. And it's so cool, right? To see that, I love that. Plus, I imagine Chick-fil-A is coming soon.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah, and it's funny you talk about Chick-fil-A, once upon a time, we were grilling hamburgers on, the regular,
Yeah.
but after the pandemic, the whole sanitation thing and touching
Right.
food, so now it's just Chick-fil-A, so, yes, we're gonna have Chick-fil-A here tomorrow, we'll have Chick-fil-A here on Saturday, and, it's, who doesn't like Chick-fil-A, right? So,
Who doesn't like Chick-fil-A? And Chick-fil-A is not cheap.
well,
I mean, it's a lot cheaper to grill hamburgers and hot dogs, and it just says a lot, and if I want a second sandwich, they go, "Here, take a third one," right?
that's
It's
it.
fantastic, it's great.
Well, that's the small price to pay. We wanna make sure that we're
Right.
taking care of you and every one of our guests, especially on a busy Saturday or on Friday when we're getting ready for an event, so we're so grateful for that, and thank you for mentioning that. Talk to our staff on one of the things that I wanna share with our teammates is when you have somebody like yourself that's been through a litany of professional experiences, and you think about Hollywood, and you think about lecturing to these students at USC and Columbia and these different places. When you talk about a guest experience, talk to my staff and say, "Hey, look, think about the following. What I know we touched base on a couple different guest experiences, but for you, not just in the automobile business, but in other businesses, what's a big differentiator for you when you're out in the marketplace?"
Yeah, well, as I was saying before, I would tell, but clearly you get it across to your staff, but I think it's, there are so many kinda unhappy, kinda desperate, kind of impatient people out in the world selling things, and that goes hand in hand with selling. If you can keep that patience, if you can keep that dignity, right? And as you say, what's the Japanese word for?
Omotenashi.
Yeah, and meaning one.
Guest one
Yes.
of one, you are not a
Right.
number.
So let me tell you a little story for a second.
Please.
I was I wrote a play on Vince Lombardi, right? And we ran it for 18 years around the country. And adjunct to that was a inspirational speech that we would do at different corporations and things, right? So he would get up, look just like Vince, and we would be from his words. And we did Rayovac in Tucson,
Okay.
Arizona at their annual convention there.
Mhm.
They're out of Wisconsin, of course.
Gotcha.
So, uh, and my boys weren't happy that their spokesperson, Michael Jordan, didn't show up for it. But their spokesperson for hearing aid batteries, Arnold Palmer, who was getting a little older, did come.
Okay.
Right. And so we did a thing with Arnie and with John, who was the actor
Yeah.
playing Vince, with him as Vince. And we got to the end of it, and his handlers, he flew his plane in. He was a pilot. And he was a big star, Arnold Palmer,
Oh,
right?
of course.
Yeah. So we're finishing up, and his guys are saying, "Come on, we got to go. We got 20 minutes. We got to get down there and do that." Right. So he had someone asked him for a picture, and he signed an autograph. And I thought, I don't, I've been in Hollywood. I do all this stuff, but I don't usually ask for autographs. But I got 3 boys who
Mhm.
are like 11 and 13 and 13. And so I said, "Arnie, could you really quick just sign one for my boys?" And he started to pull out 3 of them. I said, "No, you can just do it on one." He said, he stopped. The whole world stopped with all of this pressure on him, right? And he looked at me and he said, "No, they each deserve their own." And I went, "Okay." And he did that, right? It told me all I needed to know about him. And I think when you think that way, how meaningful it is to someone not expecting it
Mhm.
and doesn't have to have it. When you take the time to let the whole rest of the world go away and focus on that person, and that means listening too, right? It becomes a personal connection, and it's very meaningful. And ultimately, that person walks away, maybe not even remembering that you did that, but feeling, wow, I have a connection here. So I would say that would probably be, I mean, you guys are pretty much there, but if anybody needs some inspiration to do more of what you're doing or needs a more specific articulation of how it resounds with a customer,
Mhm.
that would be it.
Yeah, think about that, Arnold Palmer. For those of you that are a little bit on the younger side, Arnold Palmer is not just a drink. Arnold Palmer is one of the world's most famous golfers that has captured more majors than just about anybody but Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So what a great story. And
yeah,
that's the ultimate one of one, a
yeah.
guy that's being rushed out the door and says, no, 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 wait a minute. And I think for us, the constant reminder is when you provide that one out of one experience, how many years ago was that you did that experience?
20?
So 20 years ago,
Yeah,
and you shared that with me, and you probably shared that story dozens of times with others.
yeah. It's remarkable. In fact, I tell my son, now that he's the head coach, he's kind of a star there,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
First meal we go out to, $400 with a bunch of people after his press conference. Like right after his press conference, I pay for it, and then the waitress comes over and says, "Oh, there's somebody here who wants to pay for your meal." And he owns a huge insurance company. He's a big booster of the school, but it's like, oh my goodness, I'm with a star now,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And he did pay for it.
That's what
But I tell him the same thing. See, I tell him that story to say how important it is to every single person you meet that you just stop everything else and just give them a moment. They don't expect more than that. Just give them a moment. Now, here, a little longer moment
for sure.
because you've got a relationship that's going to continue through however it's going to turn out. But it is, I think that the visualization of things,
Mhm.
like the rest of the world going away,
Yeah.
and now this is all that's there for that moment. When you can visualize it that way, you can do it. And if you can do it, then it's very meaningful.
Yeah, that time of connection is so invaluable. And a time where so many relationships are formulated on a cell phone, on a text message
Mhm.
or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It's not a lost art to have a personal connection.
Yes.
And a personal connection certainly happens one-on-one, but when you're answering the phone, when you're communicating with a guest via email, to stop and pause and identify that this is a person on the other end, not just a number. And I love that Arnold Palmer example. And my guess is by the end of the day, I will have shared that story about 3 or 4 times because it's so great to hear. Well, I want to be hypersensitive of your time. Any last comments before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your day?
No, it's other than, we're sitting here doing this. The only reason that I was excited about doing this is because of the whole culture of your companies. How welcoming they've been, what great product I've gotten, how happy I am with it, how flexible you are on things where other places might not be, or they'll dance around it and you feel like they're kind of lying to you. None of that happens here. And so it was when you asked, I was honored, really. Yeah. To be able to come out, spend time with a guy who's a real guy, right? I mean, your son, right, can testify. My dad's a real guy, right? And you do care about people. And so I don't want you to ever think that just goes by. It doesn't.
Well, I'm so appreciative of that, and we are so grateful for you, and we're grateful for the opportunity to serve our community, but super appreciative of your time.
Of course.
We know that there's making a drive out to just sit down from an hour's drive to get over here is not easy, and we're super grateful for the time that you have taken, and so appreciative of the business that you have provided us, you, your family, and I look forward to many more conversations, not just talking basketball, but family. And as life goes on, I love having relationships with our guests and certainly with you because it transcends that relationship from customer to friend.
Yeah.
And even though you see each other every so often, I feel like we can pick up exactly where we left off.
You make that clear. You make it clear. And but by the way, let me say, you talked several times about how long the drive is. The adaptive cruise control in my Mazda makes that so much easier
Love
than it
it.
ever would have been before.
Product plug along the
Right,
way.
there you
That's
go.
great. Well, to each and every one of our teammates, I want you to think about a couple things. What Richard said is when you can be way more than a number and create that personal connection, it goes such a long way. Don't underestimate your ability to make that connection and know a little bit about your customer and give them that time. Think about Arnold Palmer, one of the most famous golfers in the world that had to get rushed out to his next business meeting, this next plane flight, and he took the time to stop and pause and realize that he was making a connection with one person, one person's three kids that has been very impactful for that family. So never underestimate that extra minute of time, that extra 5 minutes of time with each of our guests, because it can create a relationship and a story that can last not just for the day, but a week, and a story that I'm going to be sharing with a lot of people over the time. So Richard, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for allowing us to earn your business.
Of course.
And I look forward to our next visit.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hey team, thanks so much for listening to the Driven Leader podcast with our guest, Richard Clayman. And what a great story to tell. I mean, a wonderful family man, but a great example of somebody that's driving an hour to come to our dealership. And why? Because he has that Omotenashi experience, where he is treated like a one-of-one experience. And this is a guy that is lectured all over the country, that has been in Hollywood, that knows what a great experience looks like, and a bad experience as well. And when he comes into our dealerships, he feels like he has a one-of-one experience with each one of our teammates, with each one of our service advisors. He comes to multiple of our stores, and certainly it's been great to get to know him and his family and create that relationship. Not only has he bought 4 cars, his mom's bought cars, his family's bought cars. So that's our goal, right? We want to make sure that we're getting customers coming back over and over again because of that relationship. So a true driven leader for us, and a true driven leader sharing with us his influence in our organization. And hopefully you enjoyed listening to this episode. And if you like this one, make sure you watch all of our other Driven Leader podcasts as well, and like, share, subscribe so that more people can get an idea on the content. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Make it a great day.